Operation Raise the Colours. It's an honour to join patriots up and down the nation after a long, hard day at work to show this country where our roots come from and the fact that we're taking our country back. Raise the colours, raise the flags, patriots, and do so with pride.
There's the first two up, Lord Deal Way. That's the fourth set done. Crossroads to Borver Way, Winchester Road.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. What a time to be in. The British people are now collectively coming together in masses and are saying enough is enough. They are demanding that their voices be heard. They are demanding change. They are letting everybody know what country this is. This is England, and you can be patriotic. You can fly the flag without it being controversial. I tell you, man, people are just tired of being walked over, and British patriots all over the country are raising the St. George's flag and the Union Jack in a movement called Operation Raise the Colours. If you watching right now are happy to hear that those flags are being raised instead of, I don't know, the pride flag or some random other country we're supposed to care about, let everybody know by leaving a like rating, as it also really helps out the video. If you've stumbled across this episode, by the way, and you want to join a channel where clearly we speak out against today's madness, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are getting closer and closer to 100k, man. It is just insane. Turn on bell notifications along with that so you don't miss a video. Leave your comments down below and also share this video around. Now let's get into some social media posts that are sharing this movement that is trending all over the country. Let's start off with this one here, as Reform Watch goes on to post on X. Operation Raise the Colours is one of the most uplifting things to happen in the UK in years. Change is happening and it's beautiful, and you can see all of those flags on the lamppost. What a welcome change, man. It is so refreshing. Now we have somebody here who I believe was a part of this movement starting, judging by this post, but they go on to say as well, 2 months ago I sat drinking with a few friends feeling downbeat about where this country is heading. The conversation was had and Operation Raise the Colours was born. To everyone taking part in this great cause, well done, keep up the great work. It is giving people hope, and I couldn't agree more, man. People are seeing this movement and they are being filled with so much belief that change can actually happen. Operation Raise the Colours is just wonderful. Whoever did this needs to be found immediately and awarded a knighthood, and let's check out this video footage attached to the post. I tell you, man, this is so great to see. We need to see more of this all over the country. But finally, Peter Sweden says it's happening. British people are now putting up England flags on the streets in London. Mainstream media won't show you this peaceful protest, and we all know why. But let's go ahead and check out this video as well. Man, what a sight. I don't know how people just can't look at that or any other post I showed you and not smile. It fills me with so much happiness that people are coming together and are saying, look, we want our country back, man. As I said at the beginning, this is the start of the British people all coming together and demanding change. And obviously, and this makes me laugh, by the way, you're going to have leftist liberals who are so upset by this, but they want everybody to be okay with, I don't know, pride flags being flown about 24/7. I mean, this is Regent Street during Pride Month, for crying out loud. What is that? And if it's not that annoying flag, then it's the Palestinian flag being flown about constantly. We see it absolutely everywhere. But as soon as it's the St. George's flag or the Union Jack, then these people people absolutely lose their minds. You know, to all the people who are so upset by this, they are outraged. They can't believe that people now are flying the Union Jack or the St. George's flag and they're calling it some sort of buzzword. Why don't you go and live in one of these countries you apparently love so much? They won't, because it's easier to be a victim in this country than go and live over there. I mean, I always see the LGBTQ flying the Palestine flag. They even have the movement, Queers for Palestine. Why don't you go move over there, man? I'm sure they'd happily accept your lifestyle choices and wouldn't question it or do anything whatsoever. They're very accepting of it. Yeah, these people lost their minds, just like the councils who are now also removing these flags. Yes, we have councils in this country taking down the St. George's flag and the Union Jack. What an absolute disgrace. The Daily Mail go on to report how councils tearing down England flags has sparked backlash across the country. Again, would they ever do this with a flag that is associated with a progressive movement or some diverse country? Absolutely not. But a few short years ago, the prospect of the national flag being ripped down on official orders would have been unthinkable, yet that's exactly what is happening in our two biggest cities, London Stone and Birmingham. Yesterday, as our pictures show, came the extraordinary spectacle of council workers using extendable shears. You have got to be kidding me, man. But they used these to remove St. George's Cross flags from lampposts in the East London borough of Tower Hamlets, and here is not only pictures on your screen of the council removing these flags, yes, how stunning, how brave, how progressive, but also video footage is being shared on X as someone posts. It's actually sad that council authorities despise the will of the people so much that they'll even tear down England's own flag just to deny the right to be proud of England. Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Don't be proud of your country. The council has stated that Operation Raise the Colours England flags will be promptly removed, and they attached a video along with this. Take a watch. I have never, ever in my life seen anything so embarrassing. And I mean it when I say that, because these people take about 5 years to fix a pothole in the road. And everybody in this country knows what I mean when I say that. But an England flag goes up and they take it down in what? Not 5 years, but 5 minutes. You can send people out for that, but not to actually deal with the issues we pay you to sort out. Make it make sense. Now I know there'll be Americans watching this video thinking, wait, hold on. They actually take down the flag in England. They take down the St. George's flag, because you guys, you're not used to that. You're used to your country's flag being flown 24/7. I mean, I've been going to Texas for the last few months or so, and you can go down random streets and pretty much every house is flying the US flag. But do that in this country and it's the most controversial thing. I tell you, people will walk past houses with the St. George's flag flying and they'll go, oh wait, hold on, that's a racist household. That's the state we're in. That's how brainwashed these leftist liberals are. They are being brought up to hate this country. They are being brought up to hate the flag, and anybody who shows any sort of patriotism, anybody who loves their country, oh, they're far right, don't associate with them. That is what is going on, and it needs to change. There is nothing wrong with being proud of your country. All these other countries get to do it, and what's even worse, they come over here and they get to celebrate their own country. They get to be proud of their country in this country, but you be proud of England and you're viewed as some sort of hateful person. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. But the same battle lines are being drawn in Newcastle, Bradford, Norwich, Swindon and elsewhere as Britons show their patriotic side. Oh my gosh, how dare people do such a thing? And town halls have threatened to provoke fury in response. Tensions bubbled over in Tower Hamlets yesterday when, around midday at Marsh Wall on the Isle of Dogs, a two-man team from the council spent several hours cutting down Union and St. George flags. What is wrong with these people? One of the employees, who gave his name only as Tyrone, told the Daily Mail, I was sent here by my managers to take these flags down. I don't know the significance of these flags, but I've been taking them down and getting abused by people who are telling me to leave it. They ask me, what has Britain become, and say don't take them down, and tell me the mayors are, well, I think we can all agree with that. It is insane that people in high positions are giving orders to these people to take down these flags in places like London and Birmingham. Yet in Birmingham, and get this, on the eve of the 77th anniversary of Pakistan's Independence Day, they lit up the Library of Birmingham with the green and white colours of the flag. That is considered progressive, diverse. But the Union Jack, racist. The St. George's flag, racist. It gets ever so tiresome. It really does. But it's not only flags people are putting up to show their patriotic side. People are also painting roundabouts with the St. George's flag, which is also causing, as you would imagine, a lot of outrage. The BBC go on to report. And check out this headline, by the way. Man, roundabouts graffitied with St. George flag. What's interesting to me is they won't use the same wording when it comes to pride flags being painted on the zebra crossings or whatever, which people ask for, right? What's the reaction? And this is, you know, perfect representation. Get ready for this.
Look at that. Look at that pride flag on the zebra crossing. That's so great.
Get out of here, man. At least 6 mini roundabouts in Birmingham have been graffitied with red crosses to look like the St. George's flag. Roundabouts in the King's Heath and Yardley Wood areas were painted overnight at the weekend, while a video on social media purportedly showed a man daubing others several miles away in Bromsgrove, Worcestershire. It comes as hundreds of St. George's and Union Jack flags flown from lampposts by residents started to be taken down by Birmingham City Council last week, which the authorities said, oh my word, was due to safety concerns. Yeah, in Birmingham, the St. George's flag apparently is a safety concern. Left is right, up is down, common sense, hard to find. But let's check out video footage of a man going around and painting mini roundabouts with the St. George's flag. Take a watch.
Go on, lads! Come on! Uh-oh! Oh! Oh! What's he say? Hey?
Got to go over there and have a chat.
Oh, we just have? Just had us?
Yeah, so things are certainly getting interesting over here in England, but what has the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said about all of this? The leader of this country. Leader. Well, the Daily Mail go on to report, you can fly St. George's flag, Sir Keir Starmer says, amid rows between furious locals and councils. So why can't you go ahead and tell all the councils, mate? Why are they still taking these flags down? Bit strange. Downing Street on Sunday backed the flying of the national flags, although stopped short of commenting on individual cases such as the disputes in Birmingham and Tower Hamlets. Sir Keir's official spokesman said, the PM has always talked about his pride in being British. His patriotism will always be an important thing to him. Why are you lying to everyone? But they were asked if the Prime Minister was supportive of people putting up English flags. His spokesman said, absolutely, we put up English flags all around Downing Street every time the English football team are out trying to win games for us. So yeah, a lot of lies being told there. So clear to see. Even Stevie Wonder could see it, because how can a man apparently care so much about his country but is allowing the immigration crisis to get out of control? Which erodes British culture and British patriotism. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like he was forced to say that, or his spokesman was forced to say that, because if they said the opposite, it would certainly kick off. I think we could all see that happening. And one of the biggest contributors to all of this, as I just briefly mentioned, is the immigration crisis. People are seeing this and they are not happy. How can anybody be happy with this? I mean, unless you're a leftist liberal and you are a part of Stand Up to Racism, you love it right now. They want open borders, but people with common sense, they see what's going on. And of course, it's going to leave people frustrated. I mean, we are getting so out of control in this country. We have this new deal with France that is obviously already failing. The BBC report thousands crossed the channel in small boats since new migrant deal with France. More than 2,500 migrants have crossed the channel in small boats in the 11 days since the new one-in, one-out agreement with France took effect. The plan proposes that for each migrant the UK returns to France, another person with a strong case for asylum in Britain will be allowed to stay. Around 28,000 people have reached the UK in small boats so far far this year, and more than 50,000 have crossed since Labour came into power in July of 2024. Meanwhile, a boat holding more than 100 people was reportedly sighted in the channel this week. One boat holding apparently 100 migrants. You know what? Let's pause this video right now. I've got a better idea than this one in, one out system. And it's going to be shocking to hear for people who don't have common sense, but how about nobody coming? Yeah, seems pretty simple, doesn't it? But we have weak men and overly sympathetic women in charge, so it will never happen. But again, because of the numbers and people getting tired, frustrated with this whole issue, we are now seeing more and more protests outside of migrant hotels because the locals weren't asked, oh, by the way, can these people be placed here? So they're now also worried about people's safety, as the Telegraph go on to report. The migrant hotel protests show British public has snapped, says Robert Jenrick. Mr. Jenrick joined around 100 protesters outside the Bell Hotel in Essex, which has been at the centre of weeks of protests amid concerns over community cohesion. In July, an Ethiopian asylum seeker staying at the hotel was charged with essaying a 14-year-old schoolgirl days after arriving in Britain. The Syrian man, also living in the hotel, appeared in court last week charged with essay after being accused of kissing a man on the neck. What the actual F, man? And it doesn't even stop there, because we just recently saw another protest in Dudley as hundreds protest over asylum seekers in hotels. A small group of counter-protesters also gathered in Marketplace on Sunday. Dudley Council's Conservative leader Patrick Harley has instructed a legal team to see if he can mount a legal challenge against the Home Office to prevent asylum seekers being housed in hotels in the area. The Home Office previously said it was working with communities who had concerns. West Midlands police said a protest and counter-protest took place without significant incident. A BBC reporter at the scene said there were about 200 anti-immigration protesters, many with Union flags, and about 20 or 30 counter-protesters, some with Palestine flags. Mate, these people, go and live in that country if you care so much. I am so tired of these people waving these flags about virtue signaling. Just go and live over there, mate. Yeah, it's not that difficult. And again, as I said, you won't, because it's easier to cry and play the victim in a comfortable country like this one. But every day they go outside and claim they hate it so much. Man, you know, they're literally protesting against people who have a concern about the direction of this country and the safety of people within it. To them, if you have those concerns, you're racist. Even though, and get this, allegedly, schools are now sending out this warning. The Express go on to report school children given warning to avoid migrants on way home. Senior Tory Robert Jenrick claims children have been told to avoid migrant hotspots when travelling home from school. The Shadow Justice Secretary made the comments after visiting protesters outside a migrant hotel in Epping on Sunday. He said one parent shared her daughter's school had written to her suggesting children avoid certain parts of town on their walk home. He also accused the government of not listening to the people of Epping, which has become the focal point of a series of protests. Imagine that, man. They're literally allegedly writing to parents suggesting that children should avoid certain parts of town on their walk home. Nobody should have to do that. I don't care what these liberals and leftists say. There is a clear and obvious problem with these people coming into this country and committing crime. I don't know why it's so controversial, so mean, hateful to point that out. But even this video, where I've not said anything bad, it's controversial, because Keir Starmer can come out and say, oh, we have freedom of speech and all that stuff, and people can fly the flag, but secretly the government do not want you talking about this. As you can all see with this headline, expose Labour's plot to silence migrant hotel critics. A secretive Whitehall spy unit has been used by the government to target social media posts criticising migrant hotels and two-tier policing. Yeah, a secretive Whitehall spy unit is being used to look at people's posts criticizing those things. But again, don't worry, we have freedom of speech. You know, at the end of the day, I just really do hope that change comes about in this country, because it doesn't deserve to be in this position. It was once a great country, and we shouldn't run away from that. We should embrace it. We shouldn't seek to destroy it. I know these radical leftist liberals, they love to do that. But we should, you know, make our country great again. There is nothing wrong with that. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on everything mentioned in this video. What are your thoughts on Operation Razor Colors? I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, once again, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.